All right, guys. So this time part-time builds. We're gonna start building the train cars. Sorry, it's been a few days before I got back to this, but like I said in the beginning, we're trying to do this on a budget. So we have done it on a budget so far. My buddy John found me this sweet deal on these barrels. I got them for 10 bucks a piece. Mike picked up the wheels for me when they were on sale for $6 a piece. I had these old dollies lying around the house, and bargain find here, I got these chairs for 8 bucks a piece at Big Lots. So we're gonna put those inside the barrels for the kids to sit on, and y'all stay tuned and see what we can come up with. First thing we're gonna do is I wanna get one of these barrels and just set it on the dolly and see if we're gonna have to modify these a lot. I'm hoping they just sit right in here, and we don't have to cut all this up. I know I'm gonna have to cut the front of these off and rework a lot of this to make a hitch to hook the barrels together. I'm gonna have to weld something on the back, same reason. But let's get a barrel thrown up here and see how it looks. That is perfect. Looks like it was made for a train ride, guys. So I'm gonna bring y'all in closer and show you the fit up, but I think we're just gonna have to cut the hole in the top of these. I got some hardware here from Ace, and we'll put 4 bolts to bolt it down and build our chair in there and maybe a little handrail. I think we'll be good. Let me bring y'all in. As you can see, I got it up against the back here, and that thing is just sitting cradled in there. Perfect. And this is where I was talking about. I'll probably put a bolt here, maybe a bolt right above the rear axle on either side just to hold it. Mike had the idea the other day is we were gonna roll this up and maybe build it like a cradle and then come off the bottom. I might still do that depending on how much of a pain in the butt it's gonna be. But even if I don't, the 4 bolts should hold it in there. But I still need to find a way to get to, I got some square tubing that I'm gonna be using for the hitches on this. I have to find a way to get to that. So, like I said, I got the square tubing here that I'm gonna use, rectangle tubing. That's gonna be my hitches on the front and the back. And I figure with that, I can just weld a piece of square tube right on the bottom and maybe gusset the sides, and then that'll lock into the next barrel. But as you can see, it's sitting pretty good, and I already tested out my new wheels. My new wheels go right over here. I might want to extend it, but I think I'm going to build one of these first, and we'll give it a test run, one of the kids in it, and see if it's wobbly. If it gets real shaky and feels like it's going to tip, obviously I'll extend it out, and wider wheelbase will make it more stable. So I think first thing we're going to do is look at what I want to lay out for the holes in the top of this thing, because that's our next thing. And then once I get the holes, once I get a hole cut into the top, the shape I want for the kids to get in and out of and still be in there pretty secure, then I can get in there and drill through. So you'd be able to get in a hole that size. And I can always make it bigger if I need to.
Can I sit on?
Yeah.
Can I try?
That would work. Yeah, everybody try. All right. The point is to see. So I got this old, it's like plastic stuff from a failed project. As you can see, it didn't work out, but it'll work perfect for this. What I did is drew a square on the in the middle of it, and then took the barrel to get my radius, and I'm hoping I can cut this out and we can lay it on the barrels. I can find center, because there's a crease in the barrels. I can find center, line it up, tape them down, trace around it, and then all my barrels will match. So that's the plan. We'll see if it works. If y'all are doing this at home, make sure you stow your wife's Rudolph scissors that your kids chewed on. Take it right out of the kitchen. They work the best. All this work, getting straight lines, and I don't cut on them. Oh, and it's got a handle. Let's see how the opening's gonna look on there. So, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a crease where they mold the barrels. So I'm gonna use that as my straight line on these. And I found center of my template I'm hoping go like that, and roll it around, tape it in a few spots, trace it out, and all the barrels will have the same hole, is the plan. But as they say about plans, they never go as planned. Let's see. Perfect. So, hold on, Hollis. So I got my line lined up with the molding crease here. Got my daughter Holly gonna help me out. I'm gonna push it down, have her trace around it, and then we'll switch sides. She can do the other side. Perfect. All right, switch sides with me, Hollis. Come over here. You got waste out of your hand. Maybe I should have you cut it. Yeah. AJ thinks so. So what I'm gonna use, you see I got the template on there, and actually got it over the sticker, which is nice. So I gotta pull all that off. But we're gonna use a 1/2-inch drill bit, drill holes in the 4 corners, and then that way I can get the jigsaw blade in there and cut it out, follow my line, hopefully. So put you on a time lapse and show me cutting all this stuff up. First thing I'm gonna do is go rinse these things out, because this make diesel's more expensive juice is what was in these barrels, and that stuff's stronger than I imagined. So we're gonna rinse them out really good so they're safe for the kids. Probably put some Dawn in there and let them soak for a little bit, and then rinse them out so we get all that out of there. So T-burn tool actually worked pretty good. So got the barrels cut, D-bird for kids. Back on the dolly here, which is about to be a choo-choo train ride. So we're gonna center it up with that when I go to bolt it. But right now I'm trying to figure out how I want to make this hitch. And I'm looking at it. I think if I come in here and I cut a triangular piece out of this and this side, and then cut this off here, I can bend these in. And let me find that little piece. I'm gonna be using this, but I got a little chunk of it somewhere, and I'll show y'all what I'm talking about here. There it is. So it's gonna be probably 6 or 8 inches long. This is only about 4. But if I can get this on top of that for a support, and then get these 2 bars after I cut them up here, bend them in, I can weld them to both sides of this, and then it all comes to like a, basically like a trailer. And that'll be strong enough to pull the barrels, and then I won't have all this out here. So I think that's what we're gonna work on next, guys, is modifying these into train cars. So let's get started. So as you saw in the last clip, I cut up the front of this dolly to make it into the trailer. Cut this 10 inches, and then those will pinch in on that, and then I can drill a hole in here to hook to the other trailer. Learning as we go. You see I cut way too much out of there, figured it out real fast. Way better fix on this side. But when I go to weld all this back together, I found out that my one I cut out of that side fits in there pretty good. So problem solved. I can just weld that piece in there when I weld it up. You'll never know. Well, y'all know because you'll see the video, but everybody else won't know. And then once I pinch all these in like that, get this nice and square with that bar running down the middle, I can drill the hole. And then we got our first dolly. And I can put the barrel on there. And the wife actually had a good idea when we put the barrel on. I was talking about drilling hole here, hole here. I think I'm just going to do the 2 up front, or maybe even 1, probably 2. And then she's like, why don't you just drill it through here? and I got this thing here, so I might as well. And then the seat that I bought from Big Lots will be going in there, so you won't even be able to see the hardware. Don't have to worry about the kids hitting it with their feet or their back. So we'll run the bolts through the back of the barrel to hold it, and that'll actually probably help from the barrel moving forward if we stop or anything with all this high-speed action we're going to have. So let me keep going on this. I'll probably get it cleaned up and get the piece. Maybe I'll get the piece weld in there. I might save the weld until I get both dollies cut up. I probably will do that. Cut up both dollies, clean them all up. Now I can use this dolly because I like this side better, so I can get a measurement from here to here and here to here, and I can cut these pieces out of the next one and try to match this because this looks really good. This looks like crap. And then I can measure from the front of the other dolly to here, so I know where to cut that. And that really don't matter. That's just support for the thing, and I can put a weld along the bottom to keep it from pulling out. But I'll keep y'all updated. Trash hauler has to go now, but it'll be turned into a barrel and you put trash in there. So as you can see, she's been using the crap out of this thing. It's destroyed, but so I gotta get this off, get the tires off, makeshift drawing so I can pull some measurements to try to match that one over there. And shout out to the wife, by the way. She is the one that edits all of these videos for me, so I'm not taking any credit for that. I'm just the idiot entertainment. So we're gonna get this torn apart, probably put you on another time lapse of me tearing this thing down and setting this one up to look like that, and then we'll probably do the last time lapse of me welding everything together. So I got the front all welded up, and I didn't realize how thin that tubing was on that dolly. So if you see in the time lapse, I'm just spot tacking the whole thing because it kept wanting to blow through. But we got her all welded up, and got the barrel sitting back on it, looking at everything. I cut this board, just testing it, and I put a 15-degree bevel on it. Cut that, put it in there, and we looking like I cut it a little crooked because it's kind of sitting sideways, but you won't really see it. But that was a test to see our height, because the different length I cut the board, the farther down it'll sit in the barrel. So 22 seems pretty good. We put the chair in here. All right, Holly, you want to test it out? Let me hold the chair from moving, and I'll probably just throw some wood screws in the chair to hold it to the wood. Yeah. What do you think? Thumbs up? And you get dirty working out here in the shop with me. Mama's gonna be mad. But that looks good. Is that a good height? Yeah, she's sitting in there. I don't think she's gonna fall out. It keeps the weight down low because of the lower the weight, the less it'll tip on us. So I think we'll run with that. I'll probably get some screws and pre-drill. I'll measure down from the side where I want. You can see through the white barrels. That's a good thing. You can kind of see that wood shadow right there. So I'll measure down on both sides so I get it nice and even with this cut up here. And like I said, we'll pre-drill with a drill bit because I'm going into the end of the board. I don't want to split it. And then I'll run some wood screws in, 2 on each side to hold those in. And then I'll probably run a couple down the plastic chair to hold that in, but I like where it's at. The height looks good. So before she moves, I'll go ahead and measure everything. And I'll check back in with y'all when we get that mounted. So we got the wood in there screwed down. Got 2 wood screws on each side. Hold the barrel's pretty solid. The hardware I picked up at Ace, I got the ladies putting a 1/4 20 in. And we're using lock nuts, so that way when this thing's vibrating around behind the lawnmower, it won't come apart. But just want to let y'all know that's where we're doing 2 bolts there. And then with this white barrel, I can kind of see. Hopefully I can get it right. But I'm hoping I can drill 1. I'm thinking it might only need 1 right here in the middle, down that middle pipe. And that'll lock it in really good. I don't think it'll go anywhere. But I'll make a decision on that and I'll get back with y'all. So go chairs in. I want to eventually get some, probably like 1/4 carriage bolts. They need to be about 2 inches long, just so it's smooth, but I just put 2 little wood screws for now because I don't have those with me. Chairs in. We got the back bolted up, the girls did. I drilled the holes for them, but they bolted it in. We got the front bolted down. I ended up going with the outside because I looked underneath and there's a little gap between the thing and I didn't want to pull it down that far, and my bolts were just long enough to catch that locking nut. So, but that's it. Holly was already sitting in it. She like, hey, you want to try it again? See how it looks. There you go. Dirty Holly in there. Got filthy out here helping Daddy. But there we go. Now I just got to find a way. I was going to drill a hole to mount that, but the first cart needs to actually have the rods coming out with a hole in it, because as you can see from the back of the lawnmower here, that's my daughter's stuff, it's just got that. And I'll probably end up having to stiffen this up. But so the first car, I need to weld some plate on the top and bottom of that bracket so we can drop a bolt or a pin through here. And that way we can pull the very first cart. And then the other one will just look like that. So I'll try to come up with something. Probably gonna grab some lunch too, get hungry, but we'll come up with something. I'll come back out and we'll try to get this one barrel on the back of this thing and test her out. And if that one works, we'll build the rest of them. All right.
So we attach the barrel, and then we put in the seat, and then we put the hole through, and now it's done. All we have to do is Daddy needs to put on the tires.
There you have it, guys. We got one on. For the pin, I ended up slotting just the metal, and I just found this real quick. This bracket is actually, if you pay attention to the first video where I get this thing running, you can hear something ticking real bad. I had this bracket loose and it was tapping the bottom pulley, but it locks it in there pretty good for a test ride. We got it on. I got the new tires on the dolly, everything bolted down, seats bolted in, and we're gonna take the kids. I'm gonna do a couple laps around the yard real quick, take the kids, make sure this one's good before I build the other one just like it. Still not sure. Might have to extend that axle out a couple inches, and to do that I'll probably just cut that bar in the middle there and get some pipe and sleeve it and weld it on both sides, and that'll extend it out. But I think I'd like a wider wheelbase there just to get the tires out past the barrel a little bit, make it more stable for the kids so it doesn't tip. I don't think it can tip anyway because it hits the brackets, but there you have it. What you want to do is you want to do little circles, okay? Alright. So put it in there and do little circles. Get it to where you can see though. You're going to have to angle like that so you can see. Okay? And I'll hold the end for you. Hold the trigger, baby. Better than Daddy. So there you have it, guys. Other barrel's done. Wanted to show you all a few things I did to that. So I didn't like how the first one was up against it, so I welded that flat plate on there to extend it out a little bit. Actually, me and Holly will be in the video. She helped me weld that up. And then I welded a bracket on the back here to hold the next barrel, and we're looking good. So now we have 2. The goal was 3 of these in a caboose, but the other one's gonna have to be on the part 3 with the caboose because the other dolly I had lying around was nothing like these, and the barrel set up too high. I didn't like that, and with how easy these dollies were to put a barrel on, I'd rather just find me another little red dolly. And now I can make these things in about an hour, and I would have had about 2 hours in cutting that other dolly up. And with work the way it is this week, I only got 1 day to work on these, so this was all on a Sunday getting this done. So next video I hope to put out by next week will be another barrel, so we'll have 3 total and a caboose. And the wife's already making plans with the girls on this about, they're thinking of an animal theme. So we're thinking pig, cow, sheep, maybe horse, barn as a caboose. But if y'all have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. But that's the way they're leaning. But I think it turned out good. You'll see at the end, we're going to test this thing out with the girls. And I got to say, they're pretty pleased with it. Even being a barrel short, they still got in there and rode all 3 of them, and they loved it.